Hello and welcome. You know, for so many nonprofits, financial uncertainty is just this constant, nagging challenge. So today, we're going to dig into how the data you already have can be turned into a predictable, steady source of funding. We're talking about building real, long-term stability for the mission you care so much about. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's start with a number that's, well, it's pretty surprising. Only 40% of nonprofit professionals are actually using their data to shape how they raise money. Think about that. That means the majority, a full 60%, are kind of flying blind, missing out on this huge opportunity to connect with their supporters on a much deeper level.
So, just for a second, I want you to think, where does your organization fall on that spectrum? Are you in that data-savvy 40%? Or are you maybe in the majority, feeling like there's so much more you could be doing with your data? That's really the core question we're going to explore together.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to tackle the big, hairy problem of data chaos. Then, we'll talk about building a solid foundation. Once that's in place, we can start uncovering some really powerful donor trends. From there, it's all about using those insights to personalize outreach and keep supporters around. And finally, we'll close the loop by figuring out how to measure what truly matters for growth.
First up, data chaos. I have a feeling this is going to sound familiar to a lot of you. Your donor information is, well, it's everywhere, right? It's in spreadsheets over here, your email tool over there, some in your payment system. It's a mess. And that disorganization, it's not just messy, it has a very real cost.
And the consequences can be pretty rough. Like Natalie Paskowski says here, bad data leads to bad communication. I mean, there's nothing worse than getting an email with your name misspelled or getting asked to become a first-time donor when you've been giving monthly for years. It just completely erodes trust and makes your organization look totally out of touch.
Okay, so how do we fix it? We start by building a real data foundation. The goal here is simple, but it is so powerful. We've got to centralize our most valuable asset, all that donor info, into one single, reliable place. Seriously, this is the bedrock. Everything else is built on top of this.
And getting there is basically a three-step process. First, use a CRM, that's a customer relationship management system, as your single source of truth. Just think of it like a central digital file cabinet for every single interaction you have with a donor. Second, you got to set clear, consistent rules for how data gets put in. And third, you have to schedule regular data cleanups to get rid of duplicates and update old info. It's just good data hygiene.
But this is about so much more than just having tidy spreadsheets. As Jessica Roberts points out, clean, accessible data frees up your team's time. They can stop wrestling with admin headaches and start focusing on what they actually do best, connecting with people and building real, meaningful relationships.
All right, once we have that clean foundation, we can get to the really exciting part, uncovering donor trends. This is where we stop just storing data and we start turning it into insights, clues that can actually help us predict what donors will do next and guide our entire strategy.
And the potential payoff here? It is staggering. Check this out. Effective donor segmentation, which is just a fancy way of saying you group similar donors together and talk to them differently, can boost your revenue by up to 760%. This isn't just a tiny tweak, folks. This is a total game changer for building a sustainable fundraising engine.
A classic super powerful tool for this is called RFM analysis. And it sounds technical, but it's really simple. You're just looking at three things for every donor. How recently did they give? How frequently do they give? And what's the monetary value of their gifts? That's it. Answering those three questions helps you see who your champions are, who might need a little nudge, and who might be about to drift away.
But RFM is just the start. You've got your giving metrics like recency and frequency. Those are fantastic for predicting your immediate cash flow. Then you have engagement metrics. This is your long game. Things like email click-through rates or who shows up to your events. That stuff can predict long-term loyalty and even uncover a potential major donor you didn't know you had. And finally, retention metrics, like your churn rate or donor lifetime value. They tell you about the overall health of your organization and help you spot those at-risk donors before they're gone for good.
All right, which leads us perfectly into our next section, personalize, predict, and retain. Now we get to take all those amazing insights we just found and actually put them to work building genuinely stronger, better relationships with our donors. So what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, it means telling stories that connect a specific donation amount to a real outcome. It means asking for a gift that makes sense based on what that donor has given before so it feels personal and achievable. It means sending emails from a real person on your team, not just info@nonprofit. It means you can spot those donors who are at risk of lapsing and reach out with a personal touch before they drift away.
So, does it work?
Oh yeah, it absolutely works. Just look at UNICEF Australia. By using these kinds of predictive strategies to better target their outreach, they saw a 26% increase in net revenue and a 35% jump in their campaign ROI. Oh, and they also saved $30,000 just by not mailing appeals to people who are very unlikely to respond. That's not just fundraising, that's smarter fundraising.
And that's really the crucial point here. The whole game is changing. What used to be based on gut feelings and intuition is now being supercharged by the precision of data science. The art and the science are finally coming together.
And that brings us to our final section, measuring what truly matters. Because, collecting data and running campaigns isn't enough. To get to that true sustainability we're talking about, you have to create a feedback loop, a cycle where you're constantly learning and improving.
When you're trying to figure out if what you're doing is working, you want to focus on these 3 core metrics. First and foremost, donor retention rate. Seriously, keeping the donors you have is the absolute key to stability. Next up, your campaign ROI. You got to make sure your efforts are efficient. And finally, track your average gift size. It tells you a ton about donor capacity. These 3 together give you a powerful snapshot of your fundraising health.
Ultimately, it really comes down to a choice between 2 completely different philosophies. You've got the old instinct-driven way, which relies on guesswork and these one-size-fits-all appeals that make success almost impossible to measure. And then you have the data-driven approach. It's based on evidence. It uses personalized outreach, it tracks clear results, and it lets you plan ahead instead of just reacting. And that is what leads to stability.
And let's be really clear, this isn't just some nice-to-have, trendy new thing. As Nathan Chappell puts it, this is about survival. Being able to leverage data is quickly becoming a fundamental requirement for any nonprofit that wants to make sure its mission is still around in the future.
So, the big takeaway here, if you remember one thing, is this. The solution you're looking for isn't somewhere out there. The path from reactive guesswork to proactive, sustainable growth is already sitting inside your organization. It's right there in your database.
I absolutely love this quote from Emily Kerville because it says it all. Your database is a gold mine. It is filled with clues about what your donors care about, how they want to connect with you, and what truly inspires them to give. All you have to do is start looking.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Your organization has its own gold mine of data, just filled with insights waiting to be discovered. The only question is, what treasures are waiting in yours?